Welcome to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. I'm your host, Jake Stewart. In today's episode, we sit down with Dr. Karen Wolfe, who takes us through her life as a wellness coach. Very excited about today's episode, and without further ado, let's get right to it.
Here is Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart, your host of the Fit Life Orange County.
Welcome, you guys. So I'm sitting here with Dr. Karen. Super excited for you guys to get to know a little bit more about her. So first and foremost, Dr. Karen, obviously I know you. We've been close for a couple of years now, but I want you to tell our audience just a little bit about yourself. Just kind of give us a brief introduction to who you are, what you do, maybe just a little bit about your history. So please tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm otherwise known as Dr. Karen at FitBody because I did go to medical school in Australia, and then I was a GP down under. I don't know if you knew that, but I had my own little practice, and then I fell in love.
Oh.
Ha! And he happened to be American, and with two little kids at the time. So I left Australia and moved to the United States and had to decide whether I wanted to practice clinical medicine here or do something different. And I always think that we have these watershed moments in our life, and that was one for me where I could redecide, do I want to go into clinical medicine, which is a great profession, or do I want to focus on my real love, which is wellness? So I just created my own path some 30 years ago in the wellness industry. I had a job at HealthNet when I got my green card, and then I found that I'm not a really good employee, so I started my own business. I became a health coach 20-something years ago. And now what I love about health coaching is instead of telling people what to do, which I did as a doctor and writing prescriptions, I can ask people what they're willing to do. Coaching is a very powerful model of behavior change, very similar to what we do here at FitBody, where we meet people where they're at and help them move forward versus just telling people what to do, which honestly didn't work back when I was doing medicine. So now I focus more on nutritional medicine and I help people get healthy.
That's super awesome. I actually would like you to elaborate just a little bit more on that. A lot of people obviously know what it's like to go to a doctor, like in and out. Obviously, like you get a prescription here, you do this or you do that.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Like, so how does somebody approach you, and what are like just like a common reason why somebody would come to you, and kind of like how do you help them along their journey? So I'm just very curious to learn about that.
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, in Western medicine, we are taught to pretty much treat the symptoms, and we do that pretty well. But what I do as a health coach is I go underneath the symptoms and I ask the question, well, what's really going on? Now that takes a longer time, which Western medicine you often don't have. And oftentimes it's the gut. The gut is the cornerstone of really all disease. So I explore their gut health. I have all kinds of questionnaires for that. And then I listen to what they're eating, how they're sleeping, if they're drinking enough water. And I actually wrote a book called Is Your Lifestyle Killing You? Which is really the cornerstone of my philosophy, is there's so much we can do to create health when we really look at lifestyle. So that's pretty much what I do.
That's incredible. Well, that's really awesome. So like coach to coach, obviously, like I've found that as a fitness coach myself, fitness and fat loss coach, a lot of times like just telling someone to work out, isn't enough.
Right.
You probably need to get to the reason of like, hey, why aren't they already working out? Why aren't they making healthy choices? It's not just telling them, hey, make these healthy choices and you'll be all good to go. Because if life was that simple and we could always just listen to exactly what everyone tells us to do, we'd all be super healthy. We'd all be sitting at 10% body fat and we'd be happy-go-lucky. We'd all be walking around with six-pack abs. But that's just not the case. So that's really awesome that you get underneath it. And it's super duper important. And so you do great work. And I've watched a couple of your videos and things before. I'd be really interested to read your book, actually. I didn't know you wrote a book, so that's super exciting. So I'll have to check that out. But that's super awesome that you get to the core reason of why. And that kind of brings me into my next question is, I know you've been fit, you're fit now. Have you always been fit? So have you always been into fitness? Is this something you've always enjoyed doing or something you've always just kind of done because you know it's what's good for you? Can you give us just a little bit of background on your fitness?
Yeah, of course. Well, it turns out I was a swimmer for Australia. I don't know if you know this.
I don't. This is all new to me.
So, everyone swims in Australia. Of course, we learn to swim when we were little babies. But I was on the Montreal Olympic swim team for Australia. And I won't even give you can figure out the year because it's a long time ago. I was on the training squad and I was a butterfly swimmer and a medley, 400 medley, 200 fly, which are really endurance because I'm short and I'm strong. Sprinting's not my thing. So I loved swimming and I got bursitis in my shoulders. So I was on the training squad and I don't know if you've ever had bursitis in any joint, but it's really painful. And in those days, we used to do too much. Now there's do a lot of land-based training, but so I had to pull out of the training squad. It was that bad. And at that point, I said, okay, what can I do instead of going to the Olympics? And that's when I went into medicine. And I thought I'd do sports medicine. And it turned out then my journey took me into primary care. But I was always, it's in my blood. So having a fitness activity every day is like brushing my teeth. It's part of my routine. And I really understand people when it's not, and I feel badly for people that don't commit because it's hard to just start. But for me, it's been part of my life, always part of my life, and we'll get to why this particular fit body fits me so well, because I've tried many things, but it's just a commitment every single day. Fitness, and it's as much for my physical health as my mental, emotional health. And I talk a lot about that with my clients, that, and I know you do too at Fit Body. You realize that mental health and exercise go like hand in glove. It's so, so important. I don't think we talk enough about that.
No, definitely. You hit a lot of really good points there. Something that I want to ask you about is you talked about a couple of different hurdles that you face. So obviously you had a shoulder injury, and I mean, hey, let's face it, like a lot of the population has injuries. They have bad shoulders, they have bad backs. What kept you staying fit? So it would have been so easy for you to just hang up your swim cap and just say, I'm done, I don't need to work out anymore, I have a bad shoulder, maybe it's just not for me. That would have been really easy for you to do. What kept you on the road and to still work past your injury and work through your injury and find the ways that worked around it? So what kept you going in that situation?
Well, back then I was very competitive, so I moved from swimming to water polo until water polo got so, I don't know if you've ever seen women's water polo under the water, but oh my gosh, it's terrible. And then I didn't like that so much. And then what kept me going was that feeling that you get when, to be at a peak level of fitness, there's a certain endorphin high. And I'm addicted to that. So that feeling of feeling so good in my body is something that I hold on to really tightly. And if I've ever been out, well, for example, when I had my baby and I had a C-section and I couldn't exercise, I actually got postpartum depression. And that's a lot to do with all the neurotransmitters that just change from everything, not just not exercising, but hormones. And to be in that really dark place was very scary. And I have great compassion for women that have postpartum, and it's very common, as we know, and it's great to talk about it. And so now I realize that exercise, that's why I say to you, it's as much for my physical and mental health, emotional health, all of those combined. So to feel as good as I can feel, me, like I'm not comparing myself to anybody else, but that feeling of moving freely in your body, being really clear, focused, being able to concentrate, all of these things are the benefits of having a daily exercise routine.
Yeah, all that is super duper important. Like I can't stress enough, and I always say this to my clients, I say this to everybody that I come into contact with, is that fitness doesn't just change your body, it really does change your mind. So I know that like myself personally, whenever I do a workout, my head's way clearer, I have way more energy for the day, and I'm always just ready to get started. I love what you said, fitness has become something just like brushing your teeth is every day. It takes some time to get used to it, so hey, maybe you don't like brushing your teeth every day, or maybe it's like, oh, like I don't know if I have the time to brush my teeth, maybe I don't have the time to get to the gym. If you make that just part of your routine, and something that just comes naturally, I think that's really, really important. That makes it a lot easier to get started. And once you get started, it's hard to stop. So I always say like fitness is like the world's greatest addiction, because it's one of the most healthy addictions. Cause obviously you can go down some bad roads when it comes to addiction, but that's really, really awesome that you're able to do that. And it's an important point you made too about your postpartum depression. That's something that's really not talked about. So that's definitely, I can say I've never read like a news article about that. And that's really, really important. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there struggling, and maybe even some of our viewers. So I guess probably your best advice to them would be like, hey, like once the doctor says, okay, it's time to get out there, it's time to get working out again, and to maybe help overcome that. Would you say that's fair?
Well, yeah, and in that case, I did need pharmaceutical medicine. This is where I blend the best of Western medicine and the best of integrative, what I call functional medicine. And so I needed pharmaceuticals to help lift me until I was ready to practice all of these lifestyles practices that I know help keep me in balance. And back to your point about a daily ritual, what I love about Fit Body is you offer morning sessions and really early morning sessions, and you offer evening sessions, afternoon. So find what works best for you in your routine. For me, having been a swimmer and getting up at ungodly hours in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning to hit the pool, I'm a morning person. So getting up, bing, I'm ready to go. Not everybody's like that, so they like the afternoon sessions. So pick what works for you and just stick with it. You know me, I'm here every day, like 7 days a week, same time.
She really is. She's not lying. Trust me on this one. She really is here 6-7 days a week. And it's just a testament to how awesome you are and how hard of a worker you are, regardless of your shoulder injury. And I know it still bugs you. Like, you still get here and you still get it done, which is super duper awesome. So super proud of you for that.
What's up, my friend? Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that I began my journey as a fitness transformation story. You see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and lack lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life. And it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. In fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee that you will lose at least 15 pounds in 12 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now thanks, and back to the show.
Segueing into you talking a little bit about your Fit Body experience, I know you've been a member for a couple of years now, so it's been a while, so we've known each other for a while. Can you tell our viewers at home just kind of what your experience has been since starting Fit Body, and how it is different from any other fitness program you may or may not have tried in the past?
Yeah, it's different in so many ways. I was a swimmer, so I was very competitive, and now where I am in my life, I don't want to be competitive. I want to enjoy fitness. A lot of people say, oh, do you still swim? No, because as soon as I get in that pool and I see that black line, it all comes back to me, like all of those years. I love water aerobics when my head's out of the water and I'm like enjoying it. So when I come here, I like the camaraderie. Like, it's amazing, the community that you have created. And I really think that sets you apart from so many other things that I've done, like going to the gym. Before Fit Body, I did belong to a gym where I'd go every day and I'd get up on the Stairmaster, I'd do my thing, probably wouldn't talk to anybody, which is a pretty common experience for people at a gym, but I'd do the same thing every day. And I'd wonder, I'm not really getting the results. And results for me is more maintenance, as we talked about. It's like just feeling good, strong in my body. Strength for women of my age is so important. Strength, flexibility, cardio is great. But to be strong, I just had a grandbaby, right? So I want to be able to do that easily. Lift him up as he gets really bigger. So this is a whole new experience for me, having a grandbaby and being as strong as I possibly can. But the community, the variety of the workouts. So you do strength, you do flexibility, you do cardio. Every day I come, never the same. I never get bored. It's amazing. Awesome. I don't know how you do it. But it's always different, and I'm still challenged. I mean, I can push myself a little harder if I want. I can pull back. I do have knee issues, so they don't hold me back, but I'm really mindful of being careful with some of the squats and lunges, and you support me in that to do a little alternative if I need to. So it's very safe. Wherever you are at your fitness level, you are welcome here. That's a good saying, right? Because a lot of people, especially women, if you're just starting an exercise routine and maybe you're not feeling great in your body, maybe you've had some difficulty in your life and you feel kind of sluggish, this is a safe place you can come to be welcomed, to be acknowledged, to be loved, wherever you are. There's no comparison. There's no comparing yourself to anybody else. And that's really cool too. That's a really important, I think, aspect of keeping a fitness routine in a community, that everybody, all shapes, sizes, are welcome.
Definitely. Well, that makes me feel so awesome to hear that. And I love that our culture is paying off That family aspect is something that we're really, really big on, is making everyone feel included. And just to remind everybody that boot camp really is for everybody. So I always say, like, hey, we have 16-year-olds that are high school athletes that are probably going to be in like the best shapes of their lives, that can do so much. And then we have people that are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s that, you know, maybe haven't worked out in 20 or 30 years, but there's a way to modify and to adjust all of our workouts for everybody. We always do safe movements. We really focus on low impact exercises. We don't want to hurt you. We want to help you live a happier, healthier, and longer life. And it's so awesome to hear that that is the experience that you're getting. Something else I wanted to ask you a question on, being that you used to do swimming, and I'm sure you were in the pool for hours and hours a day. You're probably in the gym on top of that. A lot of time, like, and I can tell people this until my face turns blue, 30 minutes is more than enough to change your life. I was just wondering if you would agree. I want them to hear it from somebody that's not a coach, that doesn't work here. Is 30 minutes enough, and do you feel like you get a good enough workout during that 30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes of a variety of exercises like we do, strength, flexibility, cardio. 30 minutes is, I think, an ideal amount of time. 30 minutes just on a Stairmaster is a whole different thing, or an elliptical, because that's just one exercise. But when you've got this rotation and you're doing all these different parts of your body, 30 minutes is ideal. It also, if you do it on a regular basis, keeps toning different parts of your body. So I think a lot of people might say, oh gee, it's just 30 minutes. I go to the gym for 2 hours. I think if it's the right kind of 30 minutes, it's the perfect amount of time.
Yeah, well, that's always awesome, and I always say, like, more is not always better.
Right.
So as long as you're pushing yourself in that 30 minutes, like 30 minutes is enough, and it really is. And we always say, like, hey, even 3 days a week, especially if you're just starting out, 30 minutes, 3 days a week is enough to change your life and to set some good habits for the long run. So that's always what we like to say. So it's really awesome. I'm so happy we got to get a little bit into your backstory, Dr. Karen. And obviously, I know you live here in Orange County. So I was just curious, like, hey, where do we find Dr. Karen on maybe a Friday or a Saturday night? Is there any certain like restaurants or places that you like to go? Do you like going to the beach? Give us some insight just kind of into your life here in Orange County. So I'm just curious to know.
Well, when it's sunny and not rainy, which is...
We're in the weird part of the year where we get a couple days of rain. So
our favorite thing to do is to go to Salt Creek Beach.
Okay.
There's a big park, and to take our little beach chairs and sit and have dinner watching the sunset. We do have beautiful sunsets in South Orange County. So we like to do that, and then if my daughter and her puppy and now her baby, we can all enjoy that as a family. Our favorite restaurant is Fisherman's at San Clemente, because you're right on top of the water, and you know, being an Australian girl and a water lover, that's a cool restaurant. And then our Samurai Sushi is close here in Mission Viejo. It's a family-style restaurant. Love that lady, love supporting her in her business. We love supporting local businesses. So she survived the pandemic, which is great as a restaurant. And then there's a Thai restaurant we like right on La Paz. So we kind of rotate all the different local restaurants.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that insight. And I know a lot of viewers can probably relate, and they've probably all been to those places. And also curious, so being the health nut that you are, I know that you're always into health and you're always worried about your gut health and everything else. Can you give me your favorite healthy food or healthy meal that you like to enjoy, and maybe your favorite cheat meal? So something maybe that's not quite as healthy. So if you give me like the good and the bad, I'm curious, what does Dr. Karen indulge on? And then what does she eat when she's really being healthy and really getting after it?
Well, my favorite meal is probably easy and quick too. So a cauliflower fried rice, where I get all the ingredients from Trader Joe's. It's not like I'm pushing Trader Joe's, but it's like easy. I get my toasted sesame oil, my riced cauliflower, my celery and onion all cut up, my edamame, and I make this amazing cauliflower rice. And then I get my air fryer, love my air fryer, and I'll make some yummy salmon, some wild caught salmon, and in the air fryer it's like 10 minutes. So that would be my favorite meal, because I love salmon. My husband thinks, you're gonna have salmon again? I could have salmon every night. I just love it. So it would be my favorite. So my cheat meal, this is my favorite food of all time, and you're probably gonna think this is weird, but it's black licorice.
No way.
Yeah. If you had chocolate chip cookies and you had black licorice, I go with the black licorice any day. And I think it's something to do with, Australia has the best black licorice. It's soft eating black licorice. So in terms of a sweet, that would be I got to stay away from it. Like, I can't buy it. It's one of those things that I just can't have in the house, which is a tip I give people. If there's a food that you think probably not good, I don't think I can resist. Just don't have it in the house.
Yeah, I always say
Yeah.
you can't be tempted if you don't have it on
Yes.
hand. So
Yes,
it's like
yes,
don't put
yes.
yourself in the situation to be tempted. So if
Yes.
you're trying to stay away from ice cream, standing inside of a Dairy Queen probably isn't the best idea.
Right.
So
I do like ice
just
cream
always like
too.
to mention that. Well, that's so awesome. I would have never
Yes.
expected black licorice, and also didn't know Australia was famous for their apparently good black
Yes.
licorice.
Very
Maybe I'll
good.
have to try it sometime. But so that's pretty much all I got for you, Dr. Karen. Just a couple of last second questions here. If you had some parting wisdom or advice for someone sitting at home that maybe hasn't been into fitness as long as you have, that maybe wasn't an Olympic swimmer, and they're sitting on their couch watching this video and they don't know if maybe they should make a change, maybe they don't know if they can start eating healthier, what's one piece of advice or one piece of parting wisdom that you would give to that person that's sitting at home?
Well, I would say in terms of fitness, I put exercise right in line with nutrition as important, and just walk in the door. You offer like a free 5-day, I believe.
Free 7 days.
7 days, free 7 days. Just walk in the door. Stop thinking about it or thinking of, oh, but I don't look right, or I've got to get to, this is what a lot of people say, I've got to lose 10 pounds before I go to the gym. You probably hear that a lot.
Many times.
Like, just throw that away. Give that is a false belief. Just walk in the door, you'll be very welcomed. Wherever you are in your fitness journey, that's where you begin. And just take it one baby step at a time and allow this community to support you, because we all need support. You know, I think one of the greatest needs we all have is a sense of belonging, especially with what's been happening in the last few years. And that's the other thing that Fit Body gives us, is a place to belong, a place that says, yeah, that's my place. And I can keep coming here because not only is it helping me be fit, but I really love coming here. And you will get to that place. It might be hard to start with, but just walk through the door, take that risk, be bold. And I guarantee you'll be welcome into this family.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Karen. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. It's been awesome getting to know you a little bit better. And I know our listeners at home are getting a lot of value from this. Just give you a quick second to plug yourself. Is there a website, maybe your Instagram page, anywhere that our viewers could go find you and maybe connect with you?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Karen Wolfe on every platform, Dr. Karen Wolfe with an E. Instagram, I do a little bit on Instagram. And my Instagram is more about motivation to stay healthy and fit and breaking aging myths. And my website is drkarenwolfe.org. I got a lot of free resources on there. I've written a lot of ebooks on different topics that to inspire and educate, because to me, the more we can be educated about our health, the better healthcare consumers we are. And back to that being originally a doctor, I'm here to tell you, you've got to be your own health advocate. To know what you want when you walk into a doctor and say, this is what's happening, this is what I think is happening, this is what I'd like. Be really assertive and be your own best health advocate, which means being really well educated.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. Highly recommend that all of you go and follow her on Instagram, so at Dr. Karen Wolfe. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us today. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you have a great day, and I know I'll see you at boot camp tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank you
I'll
so
be
much.
here.